I always say in Marbella, it's not what you know or who you know that matters, it's who knows you. And it would seem like everybody knows my next guest, not just our wonderful Giles Brown, presenter at Talk Radio Europe, but half of the Marbella Club, Puente Romano, and everybody else who've really got on board and supported the new initiative that he has launched just recently. Paul Bramley, an honour to have you on the set. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Well, I have to say that normally I have no idea about the guests that come on the programme, but I did hear your interview on Talk Radio with Giles.
Okay.
You're an interesting fellow, I have to say.
Yeah, I do a few things. Yeah, we have a couple of businesses and things.
Well, yes, obviously you have a strong relationship with Puente Romano Marbella Club, because with this project that you've launched for Lush Blush, they've been fully supportive. It's available throughout the chain. So congratulations on that. Obviously you've a lot of meals and drinks invested, or years at the hotel.
I've been going there now 30 something years, so obviously I knew Daniel's father, but I know Daniel and his sister very well, and when I was first thinking about launching this wine, it was obviously the best place to launch it for me to start with. I mean, most people wanted me to launch the wine from Provence because it's made in Provence, but I wanted to launch it where I regularly, go to eat, and in that type of level. I wanted to try and give a brand at the certain level, and Daniel Shamoon was kindly enough to let me launch the wine there. With that, it's gone on really. That was the chain of restaurants in the Puente Romano and Marbella Club, but from there it's now gone on to probably, I think, I was told last night, it's 41 places we now sell. What a great
launching pad. I mean, you can't get a better introduction to the market than how you started. But I want to, before we carry on talking about the wine, how did you start? What are your origins? Where do you hail from, dear?
Originally from England.
Which part?
I lived in a lot of places. I mean, I moved around because I was doing a lot of motor racing in the early days, so on. I mean, I've lived in Gleneagles, Staffordshire, North Essex, London, a lot of places. And really we came here 21 years ago with the view of looking to do something in some sort of area, and we found property was a good thing, and obviously since then we've gone on to build a lot of houses. It's my main business is property development. So we've built a lot of houses and employed a lot of people. We've also...
Not easy to do in Spain.
No, it's not easy. I mean, the thing is, I was saying to Giles earlier about things like that. Licenses and things are not easy to get here, and then if you have to lay people off, you're playing God with people's lives, and I think that's upsetting a little bit. We've tried to push on. You try to do as much as you can with things. I think that I like to think we've given back quite a lot as well, because I've built probably, I think it's 3 playgrounds now and 2 paddle courts, a couple of tennis courts, and some other small children areas for Marbella as a town. I've given that thing, so I feel proud about that we've been able to give back. But the trouble is with business, I can't seem to get off it. It's not easy to switch off from business. It takes so long to get to a certain stage, and then when you're on that certain stage, like a train, once the train's built up momentum, it's trying to get off, and I find that very hard. I think my wife feels the same as well, that she works harder now than we used to work. But with the launch of the wine, it's gone a little bit more than we first thought, because it was only an idea. I was in Spain and sitting at a restaurant thinking, I didn't really fancy any white wine one day, and I didn't fancy any red. It was a very hot day in Ibiza, and I was just sitting there, and the sommelier came over and said, we'll try this rosé, and I thought, God, that's very good. I wasn't really a rosé wine drinker to start with, and I tried it, and it was just happened to be good. But I thought I could do so. I could
but
do
why?
that.
Why would you think? I mean, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean that you will or you should. But you I think that right to the
I think
to the limit.
I have a passion for food and wine. I've eaten in a lot of Michelin-style restaurants it's not so much been a hobby, but it's been something from when I was a youngster with my father. I was lucky enough to have that type of culinary experiences, and I've carried that on. So I do know quite a lot about wine. I mean, and I just thought we could do something better than that. And we went away, and I managed to get a team together. We went to Provence quite a lot and did the...
Could I ask why, when you're in Spain, you make money in Spain, you have a good life in Spain, that you went to France for your grapes and not some of the most amazing vineyards that you have on your doorstep.
That's very true, and I understand what you're saying. I think that the Lush Blush company is a Spanish SL. It just happens to be made in Spain. It just happens to be made in France, in Provence. The thing is, it's like if you want to do open Champagne, you'd have to go to Champagne. It's a region. It's not like I can just go to Ribera Duero or Rioja or Toro, or I had to go to, and I wanted to create a rosé, and the best place in the world that happens to be that makes rosé is Provence, because it just happens that it's a region like Champagne, and you can't create a Champagne without being there. You can't create a Champagne in...
I'm nearly forgiving you. I mean, you're doing a good job. I'm almost over it.
It's like you can't, if it's made in Spain, it's Cava. It's just different. It's no, there's still very, very good.
You obviously had a
cars.
very fixed idea. Did you have a fixed taste in your mind that you wanted to match?
Yeah, I wanted something that was someone wouldn't just drink and just, or I didn't need anybody to start, swirling it and smell it. I just wanted something that someone would take, get the bouquet very quickly, and something that was special. I mean, we didn't cut one corner. We got the best grapes of 3 or 4 different varieties. We got every single thing. I got the best winemaker. I got the best vineyard. I got, it wasn't just a case of that. And then obviously, when I decided to launch in Spain, because I live here, I pay tax here, it's where I live. I'm a full-time resident. So we made it under a Spanish SL company. So we employed people obviously here in Spain. We obviously need a lot more people, I've realised, because the wine's just gone, it's just
Blush
exploded.
is a big thing right now. I mean, I don't dislike wine, I don't particularly like it, but the rosé doesn't sound as cool as, I have a glass of blush. I mean, it's a very lush...
It's Lush Blush.
It's Lush Blush. I mean, so
the name come about because my wife always likes to drink blush. It's rosé, and she'd always go into a restaurant and say...
Because it is slightly different, or is it just because it's lighter?
It's probably lighter. I think that's the main reason. It's still a rosé, but it's light.
A light rosé.
And my wife would always say, do you have any blush? Something very light. And that's how the name came about, really. It was just one night, this Lush Blush type of idea came. But the funny thing that came out of it, in any business, I've found that if you get the right people, and you get the best of the right people, and you mix all the right ingredients, you normally got half a chance of making something pretty special, regardless if it's a house or a car or a radio show, television show. I think that when I knew we were going to get something quite well, and then I was arguing with the winemaker quite a lot because I wanted this particular taste, and it was quite...
So they did the mixing for you to try
and
get to
I was with them with that. I mean, I had a friend, a sommelier friend of mine at help as well, but I knew exactly. I mean, if you've eaten, I don't know what it is now, it's quite a lot of Michelin star, it's over 400, but I got to learn a lot about food and wine, and then I knew how to blend. I mean, I know how to blend wine anyway, but it was just happened to be that we managed to create this wine, and within, you send it out to the wine experts, and it's had a 97-point rating, which is the highest ever for a rosé straight out the box, which is obviously I'm proud of, but I didn't want to produce something that wasn't as good as it can be. I mean, I've had people already say, is it the best rosé in the world? Well, it's always whatever is something
quality,
the best.
price, and the market.
Quality, price, it's a very high level because as I say, we didn't cut any corners. We've used the best grapes, we've used the best wine people, we've used the best producers, we've used the best. Well, I'm the producer, but we've used the best winemaker, has won many, many, many awards of wine. And so the wine is quite a high level. I mean, it's sold in a lot of really crazy places in the world. I mean, the Marbella Club is a perfect example of wherever it's sold, and Punta Romana exactly. I mean, the wine I find is it doesn't drink like a normal rosé, was what people have said. It drinks more like a full-bodied white wine, so it's not got that weak taste. It's got no acidity, where it has acidity obviously, but it doesn't have I always try to explain to my friends, if you look at the surroundings here, if you run your hands down a piece of sandpaper, and then that's really like drinking a cheap wine. I mean, that's literally, and you wake up the next day you got a headache. Someone asked me, what would you class as, how do you, for the person that's not really an expert on wine, how would you, I said, well, hands and run it down some velvet curtains. If that's the same taste you have, feeling to taste going down your throat, that gives you a pretty good idea how good a wine is.
Well, it sounds very reassuring. I'm really delighted to see that you have this idea. Obviously, you've got exquisite taste and experience, and I like it that you're putting that into the product and making what you would like yourself, as opposed to getting away with just anything. Another thing, actually, that really impressed me, because completely unprompted, during our interview with Giles on the radio, you brought up at least 2 or 3 times, don't drink and drive, I don't want to encourage people to drink, be responsible. And a few years ago we launched a Zero Hero incentive here, which is giving away free disposable breath to participating venues.
Fantastic idea.
And they give free soft drinks to the designated driver if they go with people who are drinking. Not to discourage people not to drink, but if they do, to do so responsibly. So you had me almost at hello.
Yeah, I think you've got to be. I think whatever you do in life, whatever you're doing, you've got to be. You have a moral responsibility to. If you're selling to the public, you have a moral responsibility to anything you're doing with the public. I mean, regardless what you're doing, I feel that you have a moral responsibility, and that's my feeling. I think that there's enough time to not everybody have to drink and drive, or I don't drink and drive. I never have, and I take a taxi or a friend picks us up and so on. And
that's a successful man with this information, which I think really does. If you're an intelligent person, then that's what you do.
Yeah, I think you've got to. If you're at the front of something, or you're seen as someone that's out and about in certain places quite a lot, and you are seen there, the last thing you want to be doing is falling all over the place drunk and making yourself look a fool. I think you have to have a, as I said, I hate to say this word again, but you have a moral issue to the public as well, regardless of what anybody sees you as.
I am so delighted. I think everything you said is lovely. Congratulations on the project. Really lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice for being so socially responsible. And look out for Lush Blush. It is available. They've got the website, as you've seen on screen. And obviously, to make sure you get it, go to Puente Romano, Marbella Club, any of the affiliated
Casa
restaurants.
Santi.
Casa Santi. That's where you will find it. Don't go away. I'll be back in a minute with more of what's going on in Marbella now. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hey, hey.